In 1992, 5 people were killed due to a Pepsi contest held in the Philippines. The contest was known as Number Fever, and the concept was straightforward and clear. Each time a winning code was announced on the newscast, and if you had the same number, you won a million pesos.
Tomorrow's winning number is 373.
Pepsi congratulates the first Number Fever millionaire.
In 1992, million pesos was a significant sum of money for the typical Filipino, which is why this contest quickly gained popularity. Families began saving Pepsi bottle caps, and many individuals dug through trash yards in search of the winning caps. About half of the population of the nation was actively engaged in the competition, and Pepsi decided to prolong the Number Fever for an extra 5 weeks as a result of its success. And that was the time when everything really went bad. As you know, Pepsi had complete influence over how many people should win the competition, and just 2 bottle caps were decided to be for the winners and Pepsi would remain in profit. However, they prolonged the competition. Something went terrible. The winning number was announced as 349 on May 25, 1992 at 6 p.m. on Channels 2 Evening News due to a computer software error that glitched and mixed up the numbers. There were only supposed to be 2 winners, yet hundreds of thousands of Filipinos started to rejoice, because 349 was previously identified as a non-winning number. Bottling factories were free to print as many copies of that number as they pleased. As a result, there were already more than 600,000 349 caps in use in Philippines, and there were so many people who owned more than 1 349 caps. The streets were ablaze with celebration that evening, since everyone was wealthy and could stop worrying about money. Thousands of people reached out to Pepsi factory for claiming the reward. It quickly needed to be closed down under police protection, and Pepsi executives immediately recognized that they had made a serious mistake. To try and find a solution, Pepsi management were called for a meeting at midnight. To reward each winning cap would have cost them tens of billions of dollars. Instead, they attributed the error to the computer and made an offer of 500 pesos for each successful cap. 500 pesos now only cost about $18. This represented 0.05 of the initial award. And while some accepted their offer, but the majority declined, making them even more angry. They felt that because Pepsi was a multi-billion dollars company, they had to pay the full reward sum. However, Pepsi refused, and that was the time that everyone lost their patience and start protesting, ultimately resulting 5 deaths and numerous injuries. The Pepsi plants were attacked by 349 winners who threw fuel bottles through the window and bombed passing Pepsi trucks. A group of winners called Coalition 349 filed a case against Pepsi in court, and they chose Del Fierro, a regional preacher, as their leader. In an effort to claim Pepsi for almost $400 million, he gathered over 800 349 participants. According to old media headlines, Pepsi was somehow involved in the bombing of its own truck. These headlines were created using a police officer testimony. He said so in an effort to undermine Coalition 349's legal defense and portray them as terrorists. To infiltrate these organizations and start the disturbance, Pepsi hired mercenaries. More testimonials of people saying Pepsi bribed them to instigate chaos and disruption emerged. The charges were swiftly refuted by a Pepsi attorney, and that was pretty much the end of it. The judge issued an arrest warrant for 9 Pepsi officials in 1993, and Coalition 349 scored a significant victory with this, but unfortunately, that was the only one they had. Nearly all of the civil lawsuits and criminal complaints were dismissed by the court in the month that followed, and all outstanding legal proceedings were finally adjudicated by the court in 2006, and they came to the conclusion that Pepsi was not at fault for the Number Fever disaster. After everything was said and done, Pepsi simply had to pay a single very minor fine of 150,000 pesos. Many Filipinos who suffered from number fever continue to suffer from their trauma till today.